What's going on, ladies and gents? That laptop's going to be really the only tool I'm using this week. I have to calibrate the speedometer on the El Camino, calibrate the speedometer on the GTO, and then, oh, what is this? So this is an LSA swapped 70, I believe it's a 70. Yeah, 70 Chevelle. Stock motor. So he just wants the tune checked out on it. He got a off-the-shelf mail order style tune basically, and he wants it checked out, make sure everything's good. Cool car, clean, still got the old school buzzer outside. Overdrive. So I'm gonna guess 4L80. I'll know when I scan it. Wow, that was annoying. All right, let's see what this bad Larry sounds like. Not too shabby. Definitely not a stock camshaft, but it's got stock upper and lower pulleys. What headers are these? Oh, I believe, oh, Speed Engineering headers. Oh shit, they look nice. Cool. All right, well, let me move some cars around, and I want to calibrate the speedo in the El Camino first, then we'll do this, then we'll do this. All right, first things first on the El Camino. So this temp sensor we have feeding our gauge on our Dakota Digitals. This temp sensor feeds the Sniper. Now, if you know anything with these old big block Chevys, this temp sensor location sucks, especially if you're running headers. You pick up so much extra heat, you'd never get a good reading. So we are running basically thermostat temp, 195, 200, the way I have the fan set up and everything, off of the Sniper, off the handheld. Here is showing 220 because it's just pulling all that heat. So what we ended up doing was getting the Holley BIM module, and Bruce installed that during the week. So I have to go into my settings and configure my temp sensor. Oh, radio's on. Configure my temp sensor to read off of the BIM bus instead of reading directly off of the temp sensor itself. So I'm going to do that now. All right, so one thing I forgot. It's a beautiful day out today too, and actually there was some monstrous turkeys out front. I didn't have the camera out in enough time though. One thing I forgot with the BIM module with the Holley interface, doesn't really matter with the OBD2 interface, but with the Holley interface, I need to go into the Holley with my laptop and turn my settings over to Race Pack, which will then send the CAN signal to the BIM module to the Dakota Digital. I did not remember my Holley to USB cable, so I can't do that today. So, but anyways, we'll be reading temperature off of my, still got the coughs, off my screen. So I'm gonna let this thing warm up, make sure everything is good on it, and then we gotta go put some gas in it and take it for a ride and calibrate the speedometer. All right, people. We're almost in calibration mode. We got to drive a measured mile. So I got this handy dandy speedometer app, GPS for my phone, so I can verify that we are calibrated. So I'm going to get to the end of the driveway basically, and then start the calibration. This is a very touchy gas pedal, by the way. The cable is not the greatest. So if I kind of jerk on and off the throttle, it's not really me doing it. here to the gas station, get some gas. Okay, so calibration, speedometer, auto. All right, so 0 pulses. Now we gotta drive a measured mile. About 30 miles an hour. Not liking that transmission. Alright guys, we're in the GTO now. I had a couple of little technical difficulties with the El Camino, so I turned off the camera, took care of what I needed to take care of, and that's all set. But I haven't driven this one yet. So we're going to do the same deal. Shut this off, put it into calibration mode. This one doesn't always start up amazingly because it's got no chokes. Yeah, see. Here we go. Alright, so set up speedometer, sender. We're on normal sender. Now we're going to put this into auto mode. We're going to go for a drive while I watch. It's a pretty good little area to put my phone while I watch my speedometer on my phone. And I'm getting text. Alright, so 30 miles an hour. 30 to 35. I'm just going to cruise along. Cool little car. I'm going to let this get to about 10,000 pulses and see where that puts us. Alright, we're going to hit the button, see where that puts us. Puts us at 40, we're at 30, so we still need to do some adjustment. So I'm going to pull over, put this back into learn mode, and we can do the adjustment. And it just stalled out because, like I said, this thing doesn't like to warm up. So we'll start it back up again. Actually, we're going to put it into learn mode first. Here we go. So set up speed, sender, auto, adjust. Here we go. So I am going to adjust the mile per hour. I remember how to do this correctly while I'm driving. It's a touchy clutch. I think I got it. Is calibrated. Holy crap. That one kind of gave me some fits. All right. That one's done. That one's done. Now we're going to jump onto this. So what I'm going to do is grab my laptop, my dongle, OBD2 dongle, blah, 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 HP tuners. I'm going to go grab my HP tuners. Plug it into this, pull the base tune out, see what it's got in it, go over it, make sure everything looks good. And then see if it needs any adjustments and take it for a ride. Sorry guys, I totally got into the beep boop beeping over here and totally forgot to grab the camera. So what we have, so let me pull up the original. So this is my modified tables already. Here's my as found. So this was a completely stock, as you can see, got it idling down around 575 in gear, which is way too low. It feels like it has a small cam in it. So I've adjusted up my idle speeds. My airflow minimum, as you can tell, was a great, this was a completely stock table. And as soon as you do a cam, you gotta up this a little bit, so we up that. I went in and turned off my misfire DTCs because they're triggering at idle because of the little bit of lump that's on the cam. It thinks it's misfiring, which is actually what it is doing. It's what a camshaft basically does at idle. And so we have to turn those, or not turn them off, but desensitize them a great bit in the idle ranges. So I'm gonna reflash that up and see if that brings the idle up to a more workable version, or workable idle speed. Oh, I closed the window. The other problem is this thing is lean. At idle it's spiked 25% lean, like just completely. So I will do a little bit of that too. We'll give it some MAF curve tuning, but we told him he should actually get to a dyno and spin the wheels on a roller with a wideband to really dial that in. And then I'm going to look through and see anything else. The spark tables, completely stock spark tables. I have a really good, aggressive, yet safe spark table in my CTSV. So I'm going to transfer that over to this as soon as I get done with my idle speed stuff, and then we'll just go from there. Oh yeah, that cleared the idle up awesomely. This thing's idling so much better. But as you can see here, like I told you, it's spiked lean. I've already gone over the engine, made sure there wasn't any missed vacuum lines or anything, stuff like that. There's not. It just needs a good amount of tuning. That was a weird jump right there, and it's going to spike back up. But idle is awesome now. This is mint. Falls right back down perfectly. No hanging, no dropping down below target or anything. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to play around. Let's see, actually, see if he's got any other DTCs in here that need to be taken care of. He's got some permanent codes, which unfortunately are going to continue to be permanent because you needed to get those out of there before. So permanent. So yeah, the lean, of course, I gotta tune those. Yeah, okay. So really the only two that I have to worry about is the 171 and the 174 right here, the lean codes. All those other ones are all permanent codes that are just stuck in the ECM now because they were not cleared out before you had like a way of clearing them out. So I mean, I could show you. We'll clear the DTCs out, and the ones that will come back is just those permanent codes, those 4. So those don't affect anything at all. They're stored codes. They're long-term stored now, and they won't clear out until they pass their self-test, which they're not going to do now because it's not in the original vehicle and it's not running the original architecture anymore. Doesn't really matter. Most companies, I don't know where he got this harness and ECM from, if this was a kit or if this was a custom build or whatever, but most places will make sure that stuff's cleared out of there first, but it doesn't matter. It's good. So I'm gonna do some more looking around in the tune, change a couple more things, take this for a ride and see what we can do. Sorry, I still am coughing my brains out here. Almost just coughed in the middle of talking. See what we can do with this air fuel. I want to cut that way down. I should be able to get it pretty damn close. I'm actually going to look at what this is compared to my CTSV and see how far off these readings are from my mass airflow sensor, how far off the calibration is. All right, so I went through, eliminated all the torque management because you don't need that anymore. Eliminated whatever DTCs we don't need anymore. So this is a retrofit. It's not using any emissions equipment, so you can turn off everything for the evap codes and stuff like that. Oh, I also just realized I'm still on ultra wide view, so give me 1 second. Hey, that's much better. So this is the table, spark table that was in it. This is your high octane wide open throttle. This is what I put in it. This is my known good one. You'll see it's not a huge difference. We'll do the compare here so you can see how much. It's only lower RPMs, 5 to 7 degrees. Higher RPMs, 3 to 3.5 degrees. Like I said, this is a very safe good tune that's in my own personal car, that is a tune you can run on 93 with the amount of boost we're making, stock pulleyed LSAs, and have zero pinging. Zero. I've never had any pinging. What else here? So I went through, we did all that. We'll go through airflow. So I've got to adjust the airflow frequency. Where am I? Oh, fuel. Here we go. So power enrich, I changed that. I changed the main pedal input for power enrich from that to that, because it's just a far better calibration that also is in my car. A lot of this stuff's from my CTSV. When you got a similar combo like this, which is just another stock LSA, you're good to start there and then fine-tune it after that, and basically, you know, go from there. The RPM delay, get rid of that thing. You really, you don't want to be waiting till 5,000 RPM to go into power enrich. And I changed my EQ ratios and my enrichment ramp in. What else do we got here? Temperature cutoff, I turned that off. There's no cats here anymore, so you don't need catalyst protection. The cutoff and DFCO, changed those to my CTSV settings and upped all my RPM settings to what I have them set in my car. Transmission wise, I don't think I'm going to get into this because of course DOD's turned off. Flex fuel, if you have virtual flex fuel, you don't have an actual sensor flex fuel, disable it, because virtual flex fuel is crap. So like I was saying, I don't think I'm going to get into the transmission too much. I might put in the settings from my Avalanche. I still haven't looked underneath this yet to see if it's a 4L60 or a 4L80, but 4-speed's a 4-speed. My converter lockups are going to be the same no matter what, and shift speeds will vary a little bit, but I've also got the Blue Cat calibration tool on this laptop, so I can go through that and figure out all that crap. So I'm going to do a couple more little tweaks, and then we're going to go take it for a ride and try to dial in this air fuel a little bit enough so it's safe enough for the guy to drive until he can get to a dyno and get it fully dialed in. All right, so I didn't realize there's a whole stack of paperwork back there with the build stuff, and so this has got a 4L60 in it. So I am going to do a quick Blue Cat on it, tune that all in, and make sure the speedometer is calibrated and whatnot, and then work on that air fuel a little bit. All right, guys, as you can see, or you may not be able to, it depends how in focus these are, but see 15, 13, 11, 12, 9. Those were spiked to 43% before I started. I'm not gonna lie to you. I already went out on one test drive because I wanted to make sure everything was good before I had the camera in here, because I've been plagued by gremlins this morning. And this thing boogies. This is a bad ride. Whoever has this, you got yourself a badass car. It just sounds awesome, it moves awesome, it handles awesome, it's smooth. But yeah, so I got my numbers cut in half. Let's see where we are on the actual gauges, if I can find my pointer. There it is. So we're still a little bit high, but they're coming down. Those were spiked to 28 before, so we're working on those a little bit, and it just needs a ton of fuel. It's super lean, only at idle actually, because I can't pull up my last chart because I have this running, but driving is actually pretty damn close. It's a lot closer than idle is. So all right, well, I'm gonna suction you to the windshield. I don't know if I liked how that sounded, but I'm gonna put you on the windshield. I'm gonna go for a little drive. All right, here we go. I don't know how much of me you're gonna be able to hear once we get moving, but I really like this car a lot. Gonna go for a drive up and down the main route here through some RPM ranges to get some data on this data log I'm recording right now. But yeah, sounds great. Does have a little bit of a rear end howl, which hopefully they'll take care of at some point. That's just some pinion to ring gear lash issues. If you hear any clunks or whatever, that's just the tires throwing the rocks that I picked up from driving through the yard. Yeah, it moves pretty decent. And yes, my air fuels, like I said, are good. Everything off of idle really right now, because I'm watching that to make sure we're safe to get into boost. And we just made, on that little rip, 9.5 pounds of boost. So this will probably make 10 or 11 on the stock pulleys it's on, with the headers that it's got. Other than that, I don't think it's anything extra on this engine. The more and more I tune it, the more and more it doesn't sound like it has much bigger than an LS9 cam. It just was so lean and had so little base airflow at the beginning that it lumped like it had an actual big old cam in it. I was figuring it was something the size of my Avalanche's cam at the beginning. But yeah, ever since I adjusted the base airflow and all that stuff, it comes down beautifully off of a stop. Or down to a stop, I mean. Yeah, that was 10 pounds. So the timing that I changed in the high and low octane spark tables definitely gave it a lot more punch. The factory curve is a bit conservative, and the main thing is taking all the torque management out. Gets rid of all that timing that it pulls when you get on it to stop wheel speed and to keep it under control and whatnot. You don't need that crap when it's set up like this. You don't need that crap in a stock car, but so that was pretty good. Felt awesome. Everything's looking good. I'm going to do another adjustment to the mass airflow meter, and then we're going to drive back to the shop. All right, that's what I wanted to start seeing. So if you look, we are no longer positive. We're negative now, which is good. That means it's got more fuel than it needs. And I mean, those two settings for long term are not bad. Let's take a look at our graphs real quick. So this is my mass airflow curve. Awesome. So you remember, these were all still red before I did that very last calibration. We're in the green now. That's good. We have normalized and gotten down to a 0 point on the air fuel. Now I just have to tune it and get it closer. We got to take it for a ride and see. Let's see, what else do we got here? So we looked, yeah, so that's much better than what it was. We hit a max of 10 psi on that rip, which is good. That's right where I figured this was going to be with this combo. And my injector duty cycle, which is in here, it's not doing anything right now because we're at idle, but we hit a max of 72%, which is awesome. So much injector left, so that's good. So I'm going to put you back up on the windshield, and we're going to drive back to the shop and see how that looks. But I mean, that's awesome. That is safe drivability right there compared to where it was when it was spiked. All right, so here we go. We're already underway. I forgot to hit record on the camera. Everything looks amazing on the data log, and the car feels great. I'm just going to drive back now and see if I need to make any final adjustments, and then I'm wanted to lean into it as hard as I could without spinning the tires, just to put the engine under load, to see what the air fuels and the spark was going to do, and everything looks good. I know I've already said I really like this car. I really like it. If I put a setup like this in a 79 to 81 F body, I'd be in heaven. Only it would also have to be on a roast-to-shop chassis. For me, anyways. Alright, to give you a rough idea of how bad this base tune was, you can see all this red, that dark red. Those are some massive numbers. Some places it's 24, 25. So that was the very first test drive I did off camera. This is where we're at now. So much better. We're just barely tipping into the lean side. Most of it is the rich side. Most of the open throttle area is the rich side, so that's good. We'll go to your mass airflow. Let me get in a good area here. So you can see the idle was really bad compared to everything else. And then it started getting super lean again, and then it had patches here and there, but that is your idle. That's the first test drive I had. So now we'll go to this last one. It's amazing. So much better. So we'll do the side by side with both of those there. So before, after. So we're pretty good. I think I'm going to do this one last calibration, and that should pull it in even more. And then I'm going to take a look at the transmission settings. Okay, I think what's going to be the final air fuel revision, and I did some trans tuning. They had the converter locking up all the way down into second gear, and that's no bueno. So I am going to go drive this now and see how it is, and with my trans settings in it, and if everything's good, I think we're good to go. Already feels better. It was locking up hard in second and third at cruising speeds. Yeah, there we go. First and second, no lockup. Third, it's going to lock up later in the speed, like 40 to 45. And fourth, the same thing. Fourth is lock up the entire gear at certain speeds. They had it just lock. It was basically had stock settings, like I said. So the thing was locking up like it still had like a 5.3 or a 4.8 or whatever engine was in front of this 4L60 the vehicle came out of. We don't need that low lockup fuel efficiency crap where we're going. Settings is so much better. This thing was trying to lock up hard throttle in the middle of building boost, and I mean that would be great if you had a big triple disc converter in it and you were pushing a ton of boost, but this isn't, so it doesn't need that. Wow, yeah, the road manners of this thing are completely different from when he dropped it off. He's going to be super happy. One little tweak to the air fuel around idle again, in the idle cells. The transmission feels amazing, so that's staying right where it is. We're going to drive back to the shop, and then that's it. Call it a day. absolutely amazing compared to when he dropped it off. That transmission just shifted perfectly. No lockup, none of that crap. Well, we are good to go. It's all tuned, ready to go back to the customer for pre-tuned so they can get to the dyno and get it completely done. Couple things I noticed that we're going to relay on. I went to take the cap off to put fuel in it because we were almost out. Massive amount of suction. The fuel tank is not vented. The fuel pump is causing a huge vacuum in the tank. That can be an issue for two reasons. One, you could collapse the tank on itself. Two, if you create enough suction, you're not going to have good fuel delivery to the front, and boosted cars with lean conditions go boom. So we're going to relay that. And my transmission temperature was a little higher than I'd like. It was going a little bit higher than the coolant temp was, and it shouldn't do that. I noticed they only have it running down through in to the radiator side, the radiator portion of the trans cooler. They don't have an external cooler, so I'm going to recommend they do a small slimline external cooler under here like we did in the 69 Chevelle. But other than that, that's what today was. Calibrate a couple of speedometers, take this for a bunch of rides, and get this calibrated. That's it. So like, subscribe, stay tuned, all kinds of stuff. Noah has sunshine. I think he's doing his final sanding, and that's going into epoxy primer, and then we start on that. It's a beautiful day out. I'm debating either grabbing the boat and going fishing tonight or going super early this morning. Sorry, a bird flew, it caught my attention, ADHD. Other than that, I'll see you next week, I think. I don't think I'm working at Ferrari next week, so I'll see you next week here doing whatever we got to do, or possibly going fishing. But yeah, that's that for this week.